Did you know that Hell Let Loose on Steam now sits at a recently reviewed score of mostly negative, and its current overall review score is very positive? So what has led to this current massive downturn in review score? Now, if you play Hell Let Loose, you probably know why, but I decided to go through these recent reviews to see what the community are saying about it and generally why. So first off, big negative is the British update. Now, let me just remind you as well that the British update was actually announced in 2021, so it's taken 2 years for the British to come. And what it's come with hasn't really been that great. If we look at the weapons, pretty much all the weapons have been broken in some way. You can look at the ADS sway when you start moving and looking around. It completely blocks the front sight on most of the weapons, especially the Bren gun. And then looking at all the other factions' weapons, it doesn't do that at all. So all the weapons were broken. The Sten gun, the Zero-In, was completely broken. It was shooting a lot higher than the tip of the iron sight. And I noticed these issues with the guns in my very first match with the British, with the Sten gun. It took me a little bit longer because I actually went aside and properly tested it. But straight away, everyone could see there was something wrong with the weapons. And again, let me remind you, this update was in the works for 2 years, and somehow it was released in this state with the weapons. It's worth saying that the ADS sway-in issues have been fixed with the British weapons. The Sten gun, while they did say they fixed it, it's broken in the opposite way now, where it shoots quite a bit below the tip of its iron sight. Also, the British launched with one uniform. And when the Soviets launched, I think they launched with 2 or 3 uniforms. But the big sort of reason why people aren't happy that there was only one uniform is that one of the maps we got was El Alamein, and in that theatre of war, the British wore a completely different uniform with shorts on and stuff. So people wanted that uniform to be able to actually wear in that theatre of war, so it'd be accurate. And I think a lot of people are thinking that that uniform, well, it will come to the game. It definitely will, or it should. And there's thoughts that it could be a chargeable cosmetic. I hope they don't do that. They should just release that as a free cosmetic. There was also the historical inaccuracy, the weapons that were assigned to the British faction, such as the Lanchester SMG. Well, that is a British weapon. It was only really used by the Navy. There was the Enfield P14 rifle, which really was a World War I weapon. It wasn't really used in World War II. Also, people weren't happy that you couldn't use the bipod on the Bren gun. I never really thought that you'd be able to use the bipod on the Bren before the British came out, because the British didn't have a weapon that would actually fit into the automatic rifleman role. Because I thought they were getting the Thompson, I think it's the 1928 Thompson, the drum mag Thompson, because the British actually used that in World War II. I thought they were going to get that as an SMG, but there's an argument to be made that that could have been the automatic rifleman weapon, because if you look at the Soviets, they've got the drum mag PPSH as their automatic rifleman weapon, and then put the Bren gun as the machine gunner role and actually have it bipoded. But no, the bipod went to the automatic rifleman role, and they brought in the Lewis gun for the machine gunner instead. And the Lewis gun was replaced by the Bren gun in its role in the British Army. So yeah, the Lewis gun shouldn't really be there. And why the historical inaccuracy is a bit of an issue is because when Team 17 made their roadmap video, they specifically said that they want to put or bring Hell Let Loose into more of a historically accurate game. And then the first update they put out after that includes lots of inaccuracies. So yeah, nice one. Another reason is the recent price increase. When Team 17 took over, they decided to increase the base price of the game by £5. That's from $34.99 to $39.99. And people generally aren't happy with that, because I don't think I've really heard about a game increasing in price during its normal life cycle. Because when the game was in early access, it was $24.99 as its base price. When it came out of early access, it increased to $34.99. Now, games increasing in price coming out of early access is normal, but then increasing again, that's not normal. Now, on top of that is the sprint speed increase. Now, this is a really controversial change for Hell Let Loose. The developers increased the sprint speed by roughly 15%, and the crouch sprint speed by 5%. And when I first started playing the update, I didn't really notice it at first until I started to play a little bit more than I did, and I liked the sprint speed increase. I liked it, it felt good. It didn't feel as sort of slow, because it was faster. But as you play update 14 more, you realize that the sprint speed, like the increase, affects a lot more of the game than just, the sprint speed. Firstly, you have the effect it has on medics. Now, medics aren't really used a lot in Hell Let Loose, and when people die, generally they'll probably just give up anyway, so the medic can't get to them, and then they'll just happily run back into battle. But now, because of the sprint speed increase, that means they can get back to battle just that little bit faster, meaning medics will probably see their use drop even more. Also, with the speed increase, you can now keep up with tanks in certain gears like really easily. You can just pretty much chase tanks down to get satchels on. You used to not be able to do that because you wouldn't be able to run as fast. So tanks saw a big negative impact on their gameplay from these like Usain Bolts running around all the time. Then there was the impact of the zigzag, which is zigzagging to avoid enemy bullets, which is a normal thing to do. But because of the speed increase, whenever you would change direction, again, that's going to massively impact how much you have to compensate for that movement with your mouse or your little analog stick. People were saying that it pretty much made bolt action rifles nearly unusable. Now, in that situation, bolt action rifles, they do have that like weakness or negative. It's a bolt action rifle. Of course, it's going to have a really slow fire rate. That's probably one of the reasons why bolt action rifles were replaced by automatic weapons, because you just get a volume of fire downrange to have probably a greater chance of hitting someone, especially if they're moving around trying to dodge a bullet. You don't really see bolt action rifles on the front lines today, unless you're Russia. It could also affect the performance of the game, because now you're sprinting a bit faster. That means that the game needs to sort of load the extra bits you're running up to just that little bit quicker. And I think that's probably more felt on consoles because, let's face it, Hell Let Loose is not a well-optimized game. And now they've introduced something which they're going to have to optimize for again on top of all the other optimizations they need to do. So again, that's another probably unseen impact that the sprint speed increase has had. It's like they didn't take all these potential impacts into account when they put the sprint speed in, or maybe they didn't test it enough. And it would have been good if they would have put this out to a PTE, which is the public test environment on PC, so the players could test it before it went into like the actual update. But they stopped doing the PTEs, and PTEs were really useful because the developers could get feedback from the players before pushing out the actual update. Extra bugs could be found because players do play the game differently than probably what's intended, because everyone has like a different play style. But no, they scrapped PTEs, and yeah, it's probably a big negative thing, but they have announced that they are bringing PTEs back, which is really good. On top of that, increasing their QA team, which is the team which would really test the game for bugs and stuff. So these bugs that would come out in new updates hopefully wouldn't be there, because these QA team would test it, find the bugs, and the bugs would get fixed. Hopefully. Also, now Black Matter need to take a bit of stick for this. Black Matter, the original developers, the creators of Hell Let Loose, but there are a number of outstanding legacy bugs for the game. Two of the main ones: the loadout bug, which is where you choose, let's say, the level 3, level 5 loadout for any class, but it just defaults you to the level 1 loadout. The cause behind this is not really known, which is why it's taken them a long time to fix, but I think people are just fed up now that this bug is still here, along with the grenade bug, which is pretty much when you throw a grenade, it plays the animation, but it doesn't throw the grenade straight away, it throws it later, or there's just some weird interaction between the animation and the grenade. It's just weird, and yeah, people are probably just fed up that that bug is just still in the game. And another reason as to why the game's been getting negative review scores is the trailer. Now, I'm not going to go through all the issues in the trailer. I have a video where I went through loads of the issues, and I could have put out another video after that one, because after rewatching the trailer more times, I found even more issues, which is just shocking, really. Like, a first attempt, not, a first attempt at a trailer, not the actual final product. From my perspective, from doing YouTube and editing videos and stuff, it would be like putting out a video where I'm talking about Hell Let Loose and not using Hell Let Loose footage, or the footage is completely broken, and then just watching it and sending it to a bunch of people to watch before I make it public, and they're all like, yeah, that's all good, no issues there. That's pretty much what happened with that trailer. And really, the trailer, it's not like the game, right? That trailer is not the game. There's no bugs from that trailer that are going to make it into the game. But the trailer was really like a tip of the iceberg of all the other issues that we've just had and that I've just talked about. That's why the trailer was such a big deal. Plus, they showed that trailer at like one of the biggest PC gaming events of the year. So it just made the game look like this piece of shit. It was hilarious. And really, it's because of all these issues sort of lumped together. They've all come about from Team 17 taking over the game. And that's pretty much why people aren't happy. Team 17 are taking over. They're trying to do their thing, whether it's changing the game or just they're not, I don't like to say good enough to carry on developing the game, but things need to change at their end, and they have already done that. I've already said that they've brought PTEs back and they're bumping up their QA staff, so hopefully bugs will be identified just a little bit easier or quicker. But it's painting a picture of what Team 17 are doing or capable of doing, or the direction they're taking the game. And yeah, I mean, that's why people aren't happy. A lot of people have stopped playing it. I haven't played the game in, I don't know, probably a couple of weeks or more than that now. I've been playing Squad a lot more. Maybe it's been like a month since I played the game. And if you look through the Steam reviews, you see a lot of these negative reviews are from veteran players. People that have, just under or just over 100 hours to, I saw one review that's got over 5,000 hours in the game. And they have all these same thoughts of they just don't like the direction that Team 17 seem to be taking the game. So update 15 is planned for July. That's going to be the 101st Airborne DLC and the objective game mode. There's not really that much else coming into update 15. Yeah, there's an in-game store. That's going to be a big thing to talk about, the in-game store, depending on what they actually do with it. There's more DLC coming and just bug fixes, but there's bug fixes in every update, so that's not a major thing to talk about, unless it's fixing the outstanding legacy bugs, and that'll be a huge thing to talk about. I do hope that Team 17 sort of right the ship and turn the ship around or whatever and start putting out decent and good stuff for Hell Let Loose, but we'll wait and see. Update 15, it's got to do the business, but I know a lot of people are not even going to play Objective. There's probably going to be a lack of servers on PC for Objective because you need a separate server for Objective, and I believe there's only going to be one map for it on launch, which is really poor, to be honest. But let me know what you think about Hell Let Loose and Team 17 down in the comments below. Give this video a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.